Coming up on today's show. But today we're going to kind of focus on, what's your organizing personality and how many different organizing personalities are there?
Well, I have determined that there are 4 based on all of, my experience working with my clients.
I'm not going to fit into any of those types,
Yes,
but I'm sure I'll relate to some of them,
We
right?
can make Tidy Trish, Tidy Ted if you want.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Tidy Trish typically is somebody that likes to have everything in its place and a place for everything. She's like one of those super moms. She has just an immaculate home. Well, here comes Visual Vivian, John. Now, Visual Vivian, her relationship to clutter is she's generally detached from it. She just does not see the abundance around her.
What's your organizing personality? We'll find out today on Keeping You Organized. Hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we're going to find out about organizing personalities. There's 4 of them, and to join us is Deb Cabral, the Declutter Coach. Deb, welcome today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're going to talk a lot. You've got a lot of fun things going on in your business, and you have a TV show. But today we're going to kind of focus on, what's your organizing personality and how many different organizing personalities are there?
Well, I have determined that there are 4 based on all of, my experience working with my clients. And I'll tell you, John, I was really excited recently to be working with Better Homes and Gardens magazine. They put out a yearly edition called Secrets of Getting Organized, which is really exciting. And so other professional organizers like myself get to work with the staff at Meredith Company. And I was working with Brian Kramer, and he had asked me, look, I want you to come up with some personality types and let's, write an article. So we're able to do that. And here are the 4 that I came up with. The first one is Tidy Trish, then we have Social Sally, and then we have Visual Vivian and Multitasking Millie.
Okay, now they're all women, so that makes me feel
Yes.
good. I'm not going to fit into any of those types,
Yes,
but I'm sure I'll relate to some of them, right?
We can make Tidy Trish, Tidy Ted if you want.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Well, also I want to mention too that you are a certified professional organizer too, and part of NAPO. So, and that organization we work with a lot too. So, just want to put that in there because that is a designation that not all professional organizers can really reach.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
kudos to you on that.
Yes.
All right. Well,
much.
let's go knock on the door of Tidy Trish's. Is that what it was? Tidy Trish?
Well, here's
Okay.
the thing. Tidy Trish, each of them have a different relationship to clutter.
Okay.
Tidy Trish, her clutter is often situational. It's a specific event or something that happened that caused her to become kind of off kilter. So it could be a trauma, it could be a new promotion, it could be an illness in her family. She just has too much on her plate. So basically, though, Tidy Trish typically is somebody that likes to have everything in its place and a place for everything. She's like one of those super moms. She has just an immaculate home, maybe a few little dirty little secrets like her linen closet, which is behind closed doors, but she's, really, really thrives on structure and order and details and efficiency. But Tidy Trish can have some roadblocks, and those could be that she's trying so hard to make everything perfect that sometimes she's going to drive herself a little bit crazy, and we don't want that. So really I want to give like a good way to keep them motivated is to write down specific goals. So tidy people need to know exactly what they want to do with a space and how they're going to do it. They like all the details ironed out for them. They don't want to leave anything to chance. A really good first project for them might be to go through their files and make an effective and efficient system, by carefully kind of sorting and labeling papers. Another good idea for them, a good product, I always like to suggest some type of a product, a dry erase memo board or for a family calendar, and we like to color code by family member. So Tidy Trish, again, she's situationally affected by clutter. Typically, she doesn't have, a lot of clutter in her life.
Yeah, I was going to say, it almost sounds like that she might be the perfectionist, and would she, have you dealt with somebody like this in your business, and did you walk into their place thinking, well, this person seems organized?
Yes, absolutely. I came up with all of these. Obviously, the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Yes.
But I came up with all of these types based on all the clients that we've worked with over the past 4.5 years. And, there are a lot of Tidy Trishas out there, super moms that want to kind of do it all. And you can only really stick to that for a certain period of time before you really start to get overwhelmed. So
Right.
that perfectionism, we always say, let go of perfection. It's all about having things in its place, having, a clutter-free home, but it's not about perfectionism. It's about being able to find things quickly when you need them. And it's also about having time to relax and enjoy your family. And sometimes Tidy Trish doesn't know how to relax.
Okay, well let's
So
let's think about that one of those examples, and let's put a real life situation on one of your clients. We won't give her name out or his name; it could even be a
mhm.
him. Uh, what was the issue, and how did you solve it when you went in there?
Well, this one particular client, again, we walked into the home, a beautiful home. Every room and every closet were absolutely immaculate. So I said to the client, okay, we'd love to help you, but I'm just not sure what we can do for you. And she said, come out with me to the garage. So she had even the first floor of her garage was really very, very, very organized. She had like an old carriage house. It was an old Victorian style home. And the carriage house above, when I walk up there, that was her dirty little secret. It was just chock full of actually very good things that were still in relatively good shape, but it was every time she bought something new, she had three children, they took the things that they no longer needed and they put them up there.
Mm.
So that's what I'm talking about. Somebody that situationally, she just couldn't part with things. So she just used the upstairs of her garage, which is the carriage house, to kind of store things. And, it was really unbelievable. It was
Now,
really,
was she kind of stressed out though? I mean, because
she
I would
was.
think that that would be the thing that would,
She
keep her
was.
up at night, right?
Yeah, she was. She had three children that were very active. Her husband was a physician. She ran a very successful business herself. There was just not enough time. So rather than, because she didn't want to throw these items away, and I'm glad she didn't because we were able to donate most of them for her, but she just didn't know what to do. And she didn't have the time to figure it out. So she just kept nicely putting them up there. And so that's situational clutter. Another client we had, her mother became very ill. So in addition to her having to care for her own family and work full time, she had to care for her aging mom, and her house, which typically was very organized, began to start getting a little bit out of hand for what she was used to. So again, typically the type A personality used to
Hmm.
having everything cluttered, but there's some type of a situation in their life that causes them to kind of temporarily hit a roadblock.
Okay, so that's Tidy Trish,
That's,
our
that's
first
Tidy
personality
Trish.
type. All right,
Yeah.
let's look at our second personality type. Who's up next?
The next one is Social Sally. Now, one of the things I do want to mention is that sometimes people can be a combination.
Mm.
They may not be all straight one personality, so they may be a combination. And actually, after I did all the research and wrote this article, we actually use this now on all of our initial consultations, just so our clients kind of get a feel and they can kind of figure out, well, I'm a little bit of this one, but I'm a lot of that one. And then that helps us too to analyze, how we should work with them. So here's Social Sally's relationship to clutter. She sees clutter as his or her best friend.
Hmm.
They like to have a lot of personal items around, special stories and meetings. It makes them feel safe and comfortable with everything out in the open so that they can see it. So they're very passionate about their family heirlooms and mementos. They have a lot of sentimentality to all of their belongings. They're emotionally connected to everything. We work with lots of clients that, a ticket stub really, evokes a lot of emotion for them, where maybe us, we'd say, oh, I don't really need that. But a Social Sally really gets connected to those. One of the roadblocks for social Sally is indecisiveness. They really, really have a hard time, making up their mind. So we kind of have to gently force them to be able to make decisions and classify items. And I use a method that Judith Kohlberg, who's the founder of ICD, I
Hmm.
don't know if you're familiar with
Yep.
ICD, the Institute for Chronic Disorganization. I took one of her workshops once at the NAPO conference a few years back, and I love this, and I use it all the time, and it works. We work with social Sallys and have them start to think of their objects as either friends, acquaintances, or strangers. So a friend is
Hmm.
somebody that you're very close with and you keep in touch with all the time, and you enjoy experiences with them. Those would be the things that you really love and need in your home. Acquaintances are people that you may run into from time to time, but you're not telling them your innermost thoughts and secrets. You're not socializing with them on a regular basis. The acquaintances are those things that maybe you don't really necessarily need in your home, or maybe they're better suited that you can donate to someone else. Strangers are literally things that are just clutter. Broken items in your home, things that no longer fit if we're talking about clothing. So a lot of times with social sallies, they relate so personally to their items that we really need to have them start to think of their items in the same terms that they think of the people in their life. And that really helps them, pare things down. So a great organizing first project for them would be to go through maybe their old photos and memorabilia. And we do a lot of photo organizing in our business. And, we'll work with clients that they'll look at some old photos, maybe at a job that they used to have, and they'll say, I don't even remember anybody in these photos. Well, then I don't think you need them anymore. If you can't remember these coworkers and you're not in any of them, or you have 14 photos of an elephant at the zoo, those are the type of things we try to teach them to kind of pare down.
Now, don't you think that when you're going through these photos, though, they're going to want to tell you the story behind every photo?
Do. Yes,
so how do you get over that?
Well, you know what? It's okay for them to tell us the stories. We just have to try to do it at a pace that works well for them. So, our projects are always hourly and it's based on the project, but we have to meet the client where they are. So if we're with a tidy Trish, we might be able to work very quickly with that person. But if we're with a social Sally, we're not going to get as much accomplished because we have to work at their pace. We're not going to force them to work at a speed that they're not comfortable with. So one of the things that we do to try to motivate those people is remind them that the memories are not in the physical objects, but in your heart and in your mind. And so that, that's something that we do quite often is, that dish that you have from your mom, if you're not using that dish, if it's in a box somewhere, you're really not honoring your mother's memory or really even enjoying the memory if it's in a box. So if there are lots of things that you have from loved ones, pick one or two that really remind you of that person and proudly display them in your home so that you can see them and enjoy them. So that's our social Sally.
Okay. Well, wow. We've been through two,
Yeah.
and it's time for a break right now. So
Okay.
when we come back, we got two more of the personality types to go. So hang in there. We'll be right back. Deb Caprell, the Declutter Coach, and we'll be right back. Nearly 1 in every 8 women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer during their lifetime. While researchers work tirelessly to find new ways to fight this disease, a cure has not been found. Show your support for the fight against breast cancer with breast cancer awareness organizing products from Smead. A portion of the proceeds from the sales of specially marked pink products will be donated to support breast cancer research. Breast cancer awareness products include pink Super Tab file folders, stadium files, tag-along mini organizers, and pink expanding wallets. Use the breast cancer awareness products from Smead to get organized and support breast cancer research at the same time. Smead, keeping you organized. We are back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about the 4 organizing personality types. And before the break, we were talking with Deb Cabral, the Declutter Coach, and we talked about Tidy Trish. We talked about Social Sally. And now we need personality type number 3.
Yes, well, here comes Visual Vivian, John. Now, Visual Vivian, her relationship to clutter is she's generally detached from it. She just does not see the abundance around her. She just feels like, well, this is the way it is. This is the way I'm used to living, and it's a fact of life. Doesn't everybody live with clutter? She kind of doesn't see it. So here's some of her characteristics. She's very imaginative and creative. She keeps everything in sight because her opinion is out of sight, out of mind. So we've all met folks like that. She works on many, many projects at a time simultaneously, but she struggles to complete any of them. She likes her surroundings to be beautiful and stimulating and comfortable, but she struggles significantly with maintaining all of these, things in place. One of her roadblocks is change. It's okay to be uncomfortable initially, but she'd rather just kind of keep things as the status quo. She really isn't looking kind of to her future. She's kind of a live one day at a time type of person. So one of the things that we see is, and figure out how do we motivate this personality is, she's a type seeing is believing. So we do a lot of before and after photos. We do that with all of our clients, but the Visual Vivians are really motivated best by those before and afters because they can see the progress visually, and then that motivates them to continue.
Would they also want to have like a kind of cast a vision for them, saying, here's what it could be, maybe sketch it out, or say, if we did this, this, and this, it would look like that. I mean, you hear a lot of people talk like that are visual. They go, yeah, I see what you're saying, because they're visual people. Would you do something like that with a client where you actually try to give them a picture or an idea of what it's going to look like?
Absolutely. I think you read the article, John. That was the point. We say create either real world or electronic vision boards, like through Pinterest, or we'll make a big board for them. And we ask them, what do you envision this space? What do you want to do in this space? How do you want to feel when you're in this space? Because that's very important to visual Vivians. So a great product for them would be like a bulletin board, open shelves with bins, color-coded labels, because they're visual, so they really need to see things. Putting things in closed bins that are not clear and see-through would not be a product that would work for them. So like a really great first project for them would be to clear the kitchen countertops, because a lot of visual Vivians have lots of things on their countertops, because remember, they think out of sight, out of mind. So I might use that panini maker 4 weeks from now, so I need to keep it, out on my cabinet, on my countertop, because 4 weeks from now I might make myself a panini. So we want to, again, we don't ever want to deviate from anybody's personality. We want to come up with methods that it's going to help them maintain. So a great idea for a visual Vivian would be making maybe a nice crock with all of the utensils that they use in the kitchen out in the open. Now, a tidy Trish would never want a crock on their countertop. So you have to work with people, and then you also have to create systems that they're going to be able to maintain. So something that a visual Vivian could maintain, a tidy Trish would absolutely not be able to tolerate that. It would really bother him or her. So that's our visual Vivian.
Okay, visual Vivian. Then we have one more, right?
Yes, we have multitasking Millie. Now she kind of turns up as a like a pseudo for everyone. A lot of our clients will say, "Well, I'm definitely this, but I'm a little bit of multitasking Millie too." So her relationship to clutter is she views clutter as the enemy, but she's moving so fast and she has no time and no energy to deal with anything. So the other thing is, there's other things she'd rather do. She'd rather go to the movie. She'd rather go for a ride. She'd rather go out to dinner. It's like the clutter and maintaining is not really what she is all about, because she's so busy doing other things. So here's some of her characteristics. She's hardworking and busy, but she'll say to us, "Gee, I know I was busy all day, but I don't know what I accomplished." She tends to procrastinate and isn't always the best time manager. She loses track of time a lot. A lot of the folks that we work with, especially stay-at-home moms, sometimes, not all of them, but they are into so many different things, and then they'll say, "I don't know what I did. I know I did things today." And we even have busy professionals. I worked with a male attorney who said the same thing to me. "Deb, I know I'm busy all day, and I know I'm getting things accomplished, but at the end of the day, I'm like, there's still 20 things on my to-do list that I didn't get to." So that multitasking could really, it's a positive, but could also definitely be a negative. Again, they're overwhelmed by their stuff and commitments, but rather than taking the time to do that, they'd much rather go out and have a good time.
Boy, this one's sounding really familiar to me. I'm kind of shaking my head here, and one of our staff here, Lewis, is like pointing at me, so it's like, okay.
One of the roadblocks is getting focused, and then, once we can get them focused, with people that are multitasking Millies, we tell them, let's start small. Right. It's better to do something for 5 or 10 minutes a day than to do nothing at all. And so we tell people small changes over time can yield big results. The roadblock usually for most multitasking Millies is just making the time to get started, because that's the client that will say to us, "Well, I've got to take a week off from work to have you come and work with me so that I can get organized." And you really don't have to do that. You just have to get started. So here's a really great first project for them, is to identify the most stressful situations either in their home or their workspace and tackle those one at a time. Setting a timer, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever they can do, just to make some progress, because we'd rather see them do something than nothing. A great idea for them as an organizing tool would be a timer. Believe it or not, you can use a timer on your smartphone or just a regular old kitchen timer and set yourself 15 or 20 minutes. And people are so surprised how much they can get done in 15 or 20 minutes when they're focused and they're not trying to multitask. They're just focusing on the item at hand, and that is getting organized.
Right. Well, I think I have a new use for my smartphone now.
So
That sounds good.
the way that we keep the multitasking millies motivated is to have an accountability partner. Now, sometimes that's us. Other times it could be a close, trusted friend. We usually recommend it's not your partner or significant other or your spouse. That usually sometimes doesn't always work. But find that trusted friend that will say to you, hey, you said you were going to do this and you're not. That's going to kind of give you that gentle nudge and keep you accountable. So that is, a great way to keep a multitasking Millie motivated.
Wow, that was a word. That was a long multitasking, Millie, motivated. That was a mouthful. Hey, we're almost out of time here. I do want to take just a moment to talk a little bit about your business. I don't, where you're located. Do you work locally, nationally, virtually?
Yes.
What kinds of services do you provide, and how people can get a hold of your website?
Okay, great. Our residential organizing division is the Declutter Coach, as I mentioned, and we work with residential clients all over Central New York. We're in upstate New York, but we do work with clients virtually as well through Skype, or some folks don't like to Skype. They just want to have a phone conversation. We do that as well. We also have a corporate division where we do training and development and work with professional clients, and that division is called DC Efficiency Consulting, and we have clients all over the Northeast. We also have a television show called Organization Motivation, which airs in Central New York as well, but you can watch it anytime on our website at organizationmotivation.com. So we're really excited. We have viewers all over the country. And then our last division is called Organized in 60 Seconds. And those are 60-second news segments that are seen in Central New York and soon to be, actually by the time this airs, they'll already be visual and be seen in Wilmington, North Carolina. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and you wrote a book too, didn't you?
I did. It's called Declutter Your Life Now. You can purchase it on Amazon or from our website, which is decluttercoachdeb.com.
Wow, you're busy. So you must be are you the tidy Trish? Or
I'm definitely the tidy Trish.
I kind of figured that.
Tidy Trish, but I do have a little bit of social Sally because I do like my office and my home. I like to have my family memories and pictures of my team and things that we do up in the office. So yeah, I definitely have some social Sally in me too.
Well, great. Well, listen, we'll get you back on the show again in the future, and we'll see how I do as the multitasker, if I get any better, and definitely talk about some of the other things you're doing, too. You've got quite a wide array of things that you're doing. So thanks a lot, Deb Cabral,
the
Declutter Coach. And now you know your personality or your organization personality today on Keeping You Organized. Coming up next time on Keeping You Organized.
The high-level picture is just eliminating the things that you don't need in your life, eliminating the unnecessary.